Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it walks into your life wearing a tailored black suit, sharp heels clicking against the marble floor, eyes colder than winter, and a heart you don't realize is slowly thawing. I never believed in falling for someone I couldn't have, especially not my boss, especially not her. Adriana Villareal was the kind of woman people feared before they admired. CEO at 28, ruthless in meetings, untouchable in the office. She didn't smile. She didn't linger. She didn't mix business with feelings. And then there was me, Mia Torres, new assistant, first corporate job. Clumsy, overthinking, completely. Unprepared for the way my heart would betray me the first time she said my name. It started with tension, with long glances across glass office walls, with late nights under fluorescent lights and unspoken words hanging between us. It started with her correcting my mistakes, and ended with her memorizing the way I take my coffee. Love wasn't loud for us. It was quiet, dangerous, forbidden, and it was hers first. But I didn't know that yet. My first day at Villareal Holdings felt like walking into a different world. Glass walls, marble floors, people in suits who looked like they never made mistakes. Unlike me, I adjusted the strap of my bag and checked my reflection in the elevator mirror for the 10th time. Nervous was an understatement. I needed this job. I couldn't mess this up. The elevator doors opened, and that's when I saw her, Adriana Villareal, standing at the end of the hallway like she owned the air everyone breathed. Black blazer, hair perfectly tucked behind one ear, expression unreadable. The entire office seemed to straighten when she walked, including me. Her eyes landed on mine, briefly sharp, assessing, almost intimidating. "You're late." Her voice was calm, not loud, but powerful enough to make my stomach drop. I'm sorry, ma'am. The elevator. Excuses waste time. She turned without waiting for more. "Follow me." I swallowed my pride and followed her into her glass office. This was it. First impression ruined. She sat down behind her desk, scanning a file before finally looking up at me again. "You're Mia Torres." "Yes, ma'am." "You graduated with honors." "Yes." "Then don't make beginner mistakes." Ouch. I nodded quickly. "It won't happen again." For a second, just a second, her gaze softened, almost like she was studying me. Then it was gone. "Bring me coffee, black, no sugar." That was the first time she said my name. And for some reason, it sounded different coming from her. Mia. Not cold, not entirely, just careful. I told myself it was nothing. I was wrong. I learned quickly. Adriana Villareal didn't tolerate incompetence. She noticed everything: typos, scheduling errors, even the way I hesitated before speaking. But she also noticed when I stayed late. It was past 9 p.m. when I realized the entire office was empty, except her office light was still on. I debated knocking. Then I heard her voice. "Tired already?" I turned to see her leaning against her office doorway, sleeves slightly rolled up. The first sign she wasn't as perfectly put together as she pretended to be. "I just wanted to finish tomorrow's reports," I said. She walked toward my desk slowly. Too slowly. "You don't need to prove yourself every day." Her voice wasn't sharp this time. It was low, soft, and dangerously close. I could smell her perfume, something subtle but intoxicating. "I'm not proving anything," I whispered. Her eyebrow lifted slightly. "No?" Silence stretched between us. My heart betrayed me first. "I just don't want to disappoint you." The words slipped out before I could stop them. Her expression changed. Not amused. Not annoyed. Something else. Something vulnerable. "You won't," she said quietly. And for the first time since I met her, she smiled. Small, almost secret. Then she stepped back, putting distance between us again, like she realized she had crossed a line. "Go home, Mia." But the way she said it, it didn't feel like an order. It felt like concern. And that scared me more than her cold voice ever could. I should have known the office would notice. They always do. It started with whispers near the pantry. Why does the CEO stay late only when Mia stays late? I saw her give Mia her coat yesterday. They looked close. I told myself it didn't matter. People talk. Offices thrive on gossip. Until it reached her. I was organizing files when Adriana's voice cut through the air. "My office, now." Her tone was back to cold. Professional. Untouchable. My stomach twisted as I followed her inside. The door closed. Silence. She didn't sit. She didn't look at me immediately either. "Are you aware of what people are saying?" I forced myself to stay calm. "Yes, ma'am." And it doesn't change how I work. Her jaw tightened slightly. "That's not the point." "Then what is?" I asked before I could stop myself. Her eyes finally met mine. And there it was in something raw. "You are my assistant," she said carefully. "Your reputation matters. So does yours." The words hung between us. Her gaze flickered to my lips for half a second, then back to my eyes. "You should avoid staying late," she added. "Is that an order?" A pause. Yes, but it didn't sound convincing. Because that night, when I packed my bag earlier than usual, she was the one who stayed at her office door watching me leave. And she didn't look relieved. She looked disappointed. A week passed. We were careful. Too careful. No lingering glances. No soft tones. Just professionalism. Until the company gala. I didn't expect to be invited, but apparently assistants were required. I wore the only formal dress I owned, simple navy blue. Nothing extravagant. When I stepped into the ballroom, I felt invisible. Until I saw her. Adriana was standing near the stage, wearing a black evening gown instead of her usual suit. She looked unreal, confident, untouchable. And then she saw me. Her composure faltered. Just slightly. Her eyes slowly traveled not inappropriately, but undeniably. "You clean up well, Mia." My breath caught. "So do you, ma'am." A small smirk curved on her lips. Adriana. Outside the office, hearing my boss tell me to call her by her first name felt more intimate than it should. The music shifted into a slow song. Couples began pairing up. A male executive approached me. "May I?" Before I could answer, "I need her," Adriana said smoothly, stepping between us. The man blinked. "For what?" "Work." "Lie." But she didn't hesitate. She took my hand and led me to the dance floor. Her hand rested carefully on my waist. Not possessive, not loose, intentional. "You're jealous," I whispered before I lost my courage. Her fingers tightened slightly. "I don't get jealous." "You just interrupted." Silence. We swayed slowly under dim lights. Her face was closer than it had ever been. "You don't belong dancing with men who don't deserve you," she murmured. My heart pounded. "And who decides that?" Her gaze dropped to my lips again. This time she didn't look away. "I do." The world seemed to blur. The music faded. She leaned closer, too close, close enough that I could feel her breath. And for a second, I thought she was going to kiss me. But someone called her name from across the room. Reality snapped back. She stepped away immediately, mask back in place. Enjoy the gala, Mia. Like nothing happened, like she hadn't almost crossed the line. But her hand trembled slightly when she let go of mine. And that was the first time I realized Adriana Villareal wasn't afraid of rumors. She was afraid of her own feelings. The office felt different the next morning. Cold, not because of Adriana, because of the woman standing beside her. Tall, elegant, confident. The type of woman who walked into a room, knowing everyone would look. And everyone did. Everyone, Adriana announced during the morning meeting. Her voice calm and professional. This is Victoria Hale. She'll be working with us on the international partnership project. Victoria, the name echoed in the room. But what caught my attention wasn't the introduction. It was the way Victoria looked at Adriana. Familiar, too familiar. Then Victoria smiled. Oh, please, she said lightly. You don't have to be so formal with me, Adri. Adri. The nickname felt like a punch to my chest. The room went quiet. Adriana's expression didn't change, but something in her posture stiffened. We're at work, she replied coldly. Victoria laughed softly. You're still like this. Then her eyes moved and landed on me. Ah, she said. You must be Mia. My stomach dropped. You know my name? Victoria's smile widened. Adriana talks about you. I turned to Adriana immediately, but she was already looking at Victoria, not at me. Focus on the meeting, Adriana said sharply. But the damage was already done. For the first time since I met her, Adriana Villareal looked nervous. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But Victoria seemed determined to make that impossible. She stayed close to Adriana the entire day, leaning over her desk, touching her arm casually, laughing like they shared secrets no one else knew. Every time I entered the office to bring documents, Victoria would look at me like she was studying a puzzle. You hired a cute assistant, she told Adriana once. Adriana didn't respond, but her jaw tightened. Later that evening, I was gathering files when Victoria suddenly appeared beside my desk. You like her? My heart skipped. I don't know what you mean. Victoria tilted her head slightly, amused. You look at her the same way I used to. The words hit harder than they should. You used to? She leaned against the desk casually. Adriana and I dated for 3 years. The air left my lungs. 3 years. She never told you? Victoria added. I forced a small smile. My boss's personal life isn't my business. Victoria chuckled. That's what I thought too. Before it became my business. Before I could respond, Mia, Adriana's voice, sharp. I looked up. She was standing near the hallway, eyes dark. Not angry. Something worse. Jealous. Come to my office. Victoria smiled knowingly as I walked away. Inside the office, Adriana closed the door. You shouldn't entertain conversations with her. I didn't start it, I replied. Silence. Then I asked quietly, why didn't you tell me? Her eyes narrowed slightly. Tell you what? That she was your girlfriend. The word hung heavily in the air. Adriana looked away for the first time since I'd known her. That's in the past, but she doesn't act like it is. Her gaze snapped back to mine. Does it bother you? I should have said no. I should have stayed professional, but my heart betrayed me again. Yes. The room went completely still. Adriana stared at me like she was trying to read every thought in my head. Then she took one step closer. Good. My breath caught. Because it bothers me when she talks to you too. My heart nearly stopped. For a second, it felt like everything between us was about to explode into something real. But Adriana stepped back again, mask back in place. Go home, Mia. Yet her voice wasn't cold. It was conflicted, and for the first time, I wasn't the only one struggling with my feelings. I tried to stay distant after that night. If Adriana felt something, she didn't show it in public. Meetings were colder. Instructions were shorter, professional, too professional. But Victoria wasn't subtle. During a strategy presentation, she casually rested her hand on Adriana's shoulder. I remember when we used to pull all-nighters like this, she said softly. The room went silent. Adriana didn't move her hand away immediately, and that was enough to break something inside me. I excused myself. I told myself I just needed air. The rooftop was quiet, the city lights glowing beneath the dark sky. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to steady my breathing. You're running away, her voice. Of course she followed. I'm not, I said, not turning around. Footsteps approached. You left the meeting. I wasn't needed. A pause. You're always needed. I laughed bitterly. Not like she is. Silence stretched between us. When I finally turned, her expression wasn't cold. It was frustrated. With Victoria, it's over. Then why does it look like it's not? Her jaw tightened. You think I would let someone from my past control my present? I think, I said softly, my voice shaking despite myself, that I don't know where I stand. That hit her. I saw it. For the first time, Adriana looked unsure. You're my assistant. The words felt like a blade. I nodded slowly. Right. I moved to walk past her. She grabbed my wrist. Not rough, but firm. Don't do that. Do what? Pretend you don't feel this. Her thumb brushed slightly against my skin, and my heart betrayed me again. You're my boss, I whispered, and you're driving me insane. The confession slipped out of her like she'd been holding it back for too long. The air between us shifted. Dangerous. You think I don't notice? She continued quietly. The way you look at me. The way you get jealous. The way you stayed late even when I told you not to. My breath hitched. You think I don't stay because of you? Everything stopped. The city noise faded. You're not fair, I whispered. I know. Her hand moved from my wrist to my waist slowly, giving me time to pull away. I didn't. Mia, she said, my name softer than it had ever been. And this time, she didn't hesitate. Her lips met mine, gentle at first, testing, like she was asking for permission without words. I should have stepped back. I should have remembered the rumors, the rules, the consequences. Instead, I kissed her back. And the moment I did, she deepened it. One hand at my waist, the other cupping my cheek like I was something fragile. When we finally pulled apart, We were both breathing too fast. "This is a mistake," I whispered. "Yes," she agreed. But she didn't let go, and neither did I. For the first time, we crossed the line, and there was no going back. Kissing Adriana felt like stepping off a cliff. Exhilarating, terrifying, and impossible to undo. We stood there on the rooftop for a few seconds longer than we should. Close, too close. Then, a door creaked open. We pulled apart instantly. "Victoria!" She stood near the rooftop entrance, her expression unreadable. Not shocked, not angry, just aware. "Well," she said slowly, "that explains a lot." My stomach dropped. Adriana's posture changed immediately, CEO mode. "This is none of your concern." Victoria's eyes flicked to me, then back to her. "You always said you'd never mix work with feelings again." Silence. Adriana didn't deny it. Victoria stepped closer, heels clicking against the concrete. "You're risking everything." For her? The question hung heavy in the air. Adriana didn't hesitate this time. "Yes." My breath caught. Victoria studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled, but it wasn't warm. "Careful, Audrey. You know how ugly this industry can get." With that, she walked past us. And I realized something. She wasn't just jealous. She was warning us. The next morning, everything changed. The HR department sent a formal email. Reminder, workplace relationships between management and direct subordinates must be disclosed immediately. Failure to comply may result in disciplinary action. My hands trembled reading it. Rumors had spread fast. When I walked into the office, conversation stopped. Eyes followed. Adriana's office door was closed. I knocked softly. "Come in." Her tone was calm, too calm. Inside, she was standing by the window, arms crossed. "They know," I said quietly. "Yes." "Victoria?" "She didn't report us." Adriana's voice was steady, but she didn't stop the gossip either. Silence. "What do we do?" I asked. Adriana turned to face me. For the first time, she didn't look powerful. She looked conflicted. "I can transfer you to another department." The words hit harder than I expected. "Is that what you want?" "No." The answer was immediate. "Then why does that sound like you're pushing me away?" She stepped closer. "Because if this ruins your career, I'll never forgive myself." "And if we pretend nothing happened?" Her jaw tightened. "I don't pretend." My heart pounded. "Then don't." The board meeting was tense. Too many eyes, too many unspoken accusations. One board member finally said what everyone was thinking. "CEO Villareal, there are concerns regarding favoritism toward your assistant." The word assistant suddenly felt small, insignificant. Adriana didn't flinch. "My performance speaks for itself," she replied coolly. "This isn't about performance. It's about boundaries." Silence filled the room. Then, Adriana stood. "If you're questioning my ability to separate personal matters from company decisions," she said calmly, "then perhaps you should question whether this company trusts its leadership at all." A murmur spread. One of the board members leaned forward. "Are you confirming there is a personal relationship?" This was it. The moment. Everything could end here. her reputation, my job, us. Adriana glanced at me, just for a second. But in that second, I saw the choice in her eyes. She could deny it. Save herself, save the company's image. Or she could choose me. Yes, she said clearly. The room erupted in whispers. Yes, she repeated. There is. My heart stopped. And if that makes you doubt my leadership, she continued, then perhaps you underestimate my capacity to love without compromising my integrity. Love, she said it in front of them, out loud. For me, I didn't realize I was crying until she walked out of the meeting and straight toward me. In front of everyone. Look at me, she said softly. I did. I don't run from what I feel, she continued. And I won't hide you. You could lose everything, I whispered. She stepped closer. I already know what I'm willing to risk. Her hand found mine. Publicly, no hesitation. Choose me, I said quietly, fear and hope tangled in my voice. She didn't even blink. I already did, and for the first time since I walked into that office, I wasn't just her assistant. I was the woman she chose. The week after Adriana's confession was surreal. People stared, whispered, some admired, some judged. But it didn't matter. We were walking a tightrope, office rules, gossip, history, yet we survived it all. Victoria never interfered again. Maybe she realized Adriana had truly chosen me, or maybe she just wanted peace. Either way, I was grateful. One evening, the office was empty. Only the hum of air conditioning and distant traffic filled the silence. Adriana called me into her office. You stayed late again, she said, but her lips curled into the smallest, softest smile. I know, I whispered. I can't help it. Her gaze softened, and for a second, the fear of the world outside melted away. Then don't, she said simply. Stay with me. I closed the distance between us, and we didn't need words. The kiss was gentle, deliberate, but full of promises we both intended to keep. She pulled back slightly, resting her forehead against mine. We're going to face the world together, she said quietly. I don't care about the world, I admitted. Just you. A smile touched her lips, warm and real. Then we're already unstoppable. We left the office that night hand in hand. The city lights reflected in her eyes, and I realized something. Love isn't always safe. It isn't always quiet. Sometimes it's messy, complicated, even dangerous. But love, the kind that chooses you, that fights for you, that defies expectations, is always worth it. And Adriana Villareal? She had chosen me. I had chosen her. No rules, no whispers, just us. Love had found us in the most unexpected place behind glass walls. In late-night offices, in stolen glances and almost kisses. And now it was ours. Forever.